This week in Women in Sports, a family in Montevideo is turning their grief into action. 1 year after a teen was killed by a wrong-way drunk driver, see how they gathered on the court for what would have been her birthday. Then, some major league dance moves, see what's new for the Twins this season. And then later, the Lynx-Fever meet for a high-powered battle at Target Center. The political debate happening outside and inside the arena.
WCCO's Women in Sports, sponsored by Franson Bank and Trust.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Amelia Santaniello. Here at WCCO, we are celebrating the highlights of female athletes in this digital segment called Women in Sports. We'll share news stories with you every week right here as we do our part to give these athletes the recognition they deserve. A Montevideo family is remembering the life of a teen through action. This past week marked what would have been Hallie Helgeson's 20th birthday. She and her boyfriend, Brady Heiling, were killed by a suspected wrong-way drunk driver last summer. Hallie's family held a tennis fundraiser, raising thousands for a scholarship supporting student athletes. It's training camp for the Minnesota Gopher volleyball team, and they are back hoping to harvest the fruits of playing 5 freshmen extensively a year ago. It is a talented roster and a talented conference, but this year they have experience on their side.
As freshmen, it's gradual, like you don't always start right away. But last year was obviously a lot different. We kind of just got thrown into the fire, all of us freshmen did. And it was definitely very hard at times, but also like we all grew so much.
The team has officially started their pre-fall workouts. Coach Keegan Cook says that he's excited to watch the group mature into the season.
Besides the normal enthusiasm you have this time of year is just a little more maturity and consistency. I think that's what you hope for as a team gets older, is they look like themselves more days than not.
Well, the game of baseball has been missing something, but not anymore. MLB teams like the Mets, the Brewers, and now the Twins have official dance teams. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield shows us how, in a state known for top talent dance, this just makes sense.
With the ease in which they dance, it seems like they've always been here, but they haven't.
You're making history. Yes. Yeah, first season ever.
First season after many years of training.
I grew up dancing in Owatonna, Minnesota. And I grew up dancing in Blaine.
I grew up dancing at I-Roll Dance Studio in Beaumont, Texas.
But this?
I just never would have seen this coming even a few months ago.
Neither did their newly appointed leaders. Coach Casey grew up a Twins fan.
I knew that there were dancers for the Timberwolves and for the Vikings, but because I was in a baseball family, I'm like, well, why don't the Twins have a team?
So she and her fellow coach Charlize became Vikings cheerleaders, and they are taking that knowledge to this field.
Just being big and bold. Let's go Twins! Dancers and dancing with exclamation points at all times. You got it, ladies!
And when they are not dancing,
let's go Twins!
They are greedy.
So cute! Creating a touch point so people feel like they are immersed. All right, we're gonna smile really big into the Twins culture and being able to talk to people that actually are involved with the organization and feel included in it.
And they themselves are feeling the excitement too.
I think it just makes me feel so alive.
When we were up on those dugouts looking out at the stadium with everyone who came out, it was just a feeling like no other. This is the biggest crowd I've ever danced for.
It was surreal. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. I don't know exactly what to expect, but we're gonna just go as full out, as big as we can to hype up the Minnesota Twins fans.
And they are doing just that. From the youngest.
Hi guys! Hi guys! There's our birthday girl!
Great to the oldest.
Yes, and it's so cool that you are celebrating your 100th birthday.
They helped the very loved Joyce and her entire family commemorate the occasion.
They have done nothing but celebrate.
And so was watching this inaugural team.
Yes, you guys are great. Oh my gosh, you're so good. You're so synchronized.
And from a woman who knows history, she and many others are excited to see it being made. With photojournalist Nick Luneman, Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, WCCO Sports.
The team will be dancing at games on August 15th, 16th, 28th, and 29th. More participation in football is the best way to grow the game, and this is a perfect example. This week, the Vikings honored the Rosemount High School girls flag football team. They were state champions this past spring. The players helped run a clinic at TCO, and they celebrated their successful season. Then, team president and owner Mark Wolf announced their MVP, Talia Vecchio. Her reward, you ask? She'll get to blow the gallow horn at the upcoming Vikings-Baltimore game. Quite the day and quite a season for the Irish.
It's definitely like playing a sport that is like up and coming, definitely where you can kind of pave the way for other girls. It's definitely like, it means a lot to me to be able to be that kind of example for other girls who want to play flag football but haven't had the opportunity in the past.
In a marquee WNBA showdown in Minneapolis this week, politics took center stage. Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve spoke with the Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham before their team squared off on the court. The pair are making headlines seemingly at odds over transgender athletes. Our Connor White takes us inside the political conversation dominating the sport.
Protect trans women!
Outside the Target Center on Sunday,
Trans women are men!
Protesters gathered, voicing both support and opposition in the wake of Indiana Fever player Sophie Cunningham's interview with ESPN in July, where she said, "I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men." In the week since, a group of people have rallied behind her words at Fever games, including an away game in Seattle, where Cunningham said her stance is common sense.
I have never once said I hated the trans community. Like I said, I think there's space for everyone.
To me, it's a human rights issue. Every kid has a right to sports.
Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve addressed the demonstrations ahead of time, saying this on Saturday.
What's bothersome is that there's a faction of people in our country that are making this a massive issue.
Before the Lynx beat the Fever 108-100, Reeve and Cunningham were spotted having a conversation courtside. The Lynx coach sporting a shirt that reads, "Trans kids belong," during the game.
We both talked about, wanting to, more than anything, educate, and there are some things that we have in common and maybe some things you differ on.
Minneapolis police say about 60 people in total rallied in protest and counter-protest. While about half had signs with messages like "Let all girls play," the other half pushed back against transgender inclusion under the stated goal of protecting girls' sports. Republican Senate candidate Michelle Tafoya was joined by right-wing influencer Riley Gaines in celebrating that message.
Let's maybe walk back some of the rhetoric and talk about what inclusion looks like.
Kat Rohn, executive director of Outfront Minnesota, notes there's a difference between trans athletes at different ages and levels, echoing Reeves' comments about nuance.
In your opinion, can a nuanced conversation be had about particular biological advantages on a court or another sports field and respect those involved? Yeah, absolutely. But I think we should start from a place of wanting to build inclusion for all folks.
Trans athletes are currently not competing at high levels in large numbers. In 2024, the NCAA stated fewer than 10 trans athletes competed in a pool of more than 530,000 student athletes. There are no trans athletes in the WNBA this season. In Minneapolis, with photojournalist Nick Boki, Connor White, WCCO News.
The Supreme Court paved the way this year for states to ban transgender athletes, but the Minnesota State High School League allows trans athletes to play on girls' teams. And now to the final women's golf major of the year. That would be the Open Championship in England. We saw a great performance by Germany's Esther Heinzeleit, forcing her way into a playoff. But it was Shiho Kuwaki with a short par putt for the win. She wins her first major at 5 under par. So congratulations. Thanks for watching this week's Women in Sports. I'm Amelia Santaniello, and we'll be back with more great stories next week.